Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another tutorial. In this one, we're looking at how to create a forum. So a forum is a place where people can add posts and others comment, maybe ask questions, and others put comments there to answer those questions. So as you can see here, there's a posts area. So there are just two posts here. And then below there are comments down here. So two comments only. And then there's this profile settings part here for each user's profile. And then there's this part that displays the user information that is kind of like a profile page. And then we have two alerts here, a green one and a red one. Then we have our navigation here and the logged in user over there. So this is just a template that we're going to use, that we created, that we're going to use. Oh, this is a template we are going to create, sorry. And then in this video, we'll create this template. In the next video, we're going to create some PHP to make it functional. And we're going to use Ajax as well, so that there's real time. Once you post something here, you see it here without the page refreshing, having to refresh, etc., etc. And then we're going to have a login and sign up page as well, because we need that. Users need to log in onto the forum and then put a post there if they want, but they can still view the posts without having to log in, because forums usually are for finding out answers to certain questions, right? So you don't have to log in, you can see, but in order to comment and in order to post, you have to be logged in. So there's what's on your mind there, and here there's write a comment. And also if I refresh this, you see there's a sign up page here. This is where the user will sign up. This is just a pop-up that will come up whenever the user wants to comment or write a post. Then they have to sign up, either sign up or log in. Actually forgot to put a link here to the login page in case they already did sign up. All right, and then there's a navigation here at the top. So very simple template. You can check the link in the description to download this template so you can follow along and see what we are building. But we're going to build this using a software that I created, which the link is also in the description. You don't have to download it. You work with it online. You just open the page and then you can follow along to the tutorial, or you can just watch the tutorial. And then once you are done, once you export this and grab this, you can check the CSS to see how it's designed, and that might be helpful to you. But in the next video, we're going to add some actual PHP so that it's functional, it actually works. But in this one, we are doing the design. All right, so let's begin with the design process of this template. So to start with, we need to use this software here that I created. Now this is free software, so the link is in the description on where to use it. Just click on that link and you'll see something like this. Then you can start creating and following along. Now, like I said, in this video, we're just designing the UI itself. And in the next video, we're going to add some actual PHP to make it work. Now, if you don't want to follow along with this tutorial, that's fine. You can simply download the finished template that I'll create from this particular video. However, it's good to understand what's going on. So even though you're not following along here, just watch the video and see what's what and why we create the things we create. And also following along can help you learn some CSS because whatever you do in this app will actually show as CSS down there. Anyway, I'll explain a little bit. So what we'll do is let's add an element first, and I want to add a background so I can change the background color as I wish. So I'll click on add element and I'll go here where it says empty and I'll add a background. So this is the background here. If I click on it, I get some properties here. Now, as always, I can click and drag this properties panel anywhere that I want on the page, and I can close it if I want to. I can simply click back here on properties to see it again. And if for some reason I want to reset it back to the corner where it lives, I can simply go to view and say reset properties panel, and there it is. All right. So with that out of the way, I want to edit the color of this thing. So make sure you click on this background div. This is just a div. And I'll click here where it says BG color, and I will adjust to a much lighter gray like so. Okay. Now select the thing again, the div, and click add element. And this time I want to add an empty div. Actually, before that, let me go to headers and add a header. So I'll click that. And as you can see, we have a header here. I'll move this down here so we can see there is hi user over there, because we want users to be able to log into our system and see themselves there. Let's change the logo here. So I'm just going to click on the logo itself, the image. Let's move the properties panel. Let's go down here to image, and you will see the image here. So let's click on that. And what I want to do is go to logos. Let's see. Now here you can grab any logo of your choice. Now this is simply placeholders. So you can put whatever logo you want, and then later on you can simply change it, because once we export this to HTML, you can easily replace the images. So I'll try and use this one for now. Now it looks a little too big. So what I'll do is, here it tells me that the selected item is of type IMG. So it's an image. That's great. Now I can go to width here, and let me just click the cancel button here to remove the width. That way it goes to its normal size. And then I'll click the container that it holds. Click that and say text align center. That will help to center it like that. Okay, so here on the home, about, and contacts, you can simply click in here to edit the text of the item here, and then you can simply duplicate this item to add more if you want to add more tabs here. Now we want the home page, of course, and the rest we can decide later. So let's just leave it at that. And now I'm going to click on the background div itself so I can add more items. Now here I want to add another empty div. So click on that, and there it is. Now with this, I'll go to the width, and I'll remove that width thingy, then it goes all the way to the end, because that's how divs are. But let me give it a maximum width of 800 pixels. That way it ends somewhere here, and I want to center it. So I'm going to go to margin and select margin auto there, and there it is. Now if you select an item and you're feeling confused as to what CSS it has, you can simply scroll down to the very end, and there's a styles thingy here, and you can see the styles directly there. Deleting any of these styles will directly affect it, so you can, if you don't like using this, you can simply type your CSS in this box down here. No problem there. Also, so actually, let's change a few things before we go ahead. I'll click on the background color, put white. Click on the text color and click black. And now that I've done that, let me click on this one here and add a little padding just so there's space there. So just one, no, we didn't need that actually. I'll add this one and give it a margin. So let's go margin top. Where is margin top here? There it is. So let's add, I'm just clicking and scrolling here, 10 pixels, that should be enough. Let's go to the height here. Let's give it a minimum height of, maybe, in case it doesn't have anything, maybe it can be 400 pixel minimum height. Let me close, remove that height thingy, type this again, 400 pixels minimum height, like that. Okay, great. So this is looking good. At least this is where we'll put our content. So select this very item, click add. Now I'm going to go to components and add an h1 tag, and here I want to put posts here. So now what I'm trying to do here is design the entire UI on one page, and then we're going to separate these into separate pages. Now the reason I'm putting it on the same page is because I want the same CSS that has the header to be present everywhere else. So that's why I'm doing that. But then let's put posts there. I don't want it to leave so much gap here, so I'm going to go to the margin and select, put maybe 1 pixel margin there instead, because H1 tags come with their own margin and stuff. Then in here I will add again an empty div. So make sure you do select this guy and click there. Let's go to an empty div and add empty, and there we go. So of course I will remove the width so that it goes all the way to the end. Okay, but I don't want this to have background color. Instead I want a border color, so just click on the X here to remove the background color, but the text color, give it black. Now let's go to the border. So where is border? Border, there it is. My mouse is dancing around. So I'm going to click on the color here and just put a very faint gray. So just move that over there, do OK. If I click away, I'm going to see that I have a slight faint thingy here going on, which is nice. And then in here, I want to put 2 divs in there. Let's go to the height and see what's going on. Height is 100, so I'm just going to close that instead, but I'll say min height 100. Okay, that way it has a minimum height, but it can grow bigger. In there, let me add 2 empty divs. I'll add this first one and I'll repeat my action again. So there are 2, but in order for us to see the difference, I'm going to change the background color of the other one, like so. And then I select the parent again. Let's go to display. Display here, I want to change the display to flex, like that. Okay, that way it can these go side by side, but I want this to fill up the space at the end here, so I'll select this one and give it a flex value of 1. So flex is on this section, just put 1 there. I don't know why it disappeared, but for some reason, oh no, I see why it disappeared. Anyway, if you look down here on the styles, you see that there's flex here, so you can edit it directly there, and this is what I wanted, so it's fine. Okay, so at least this is what we have now. Now in here I want to add an image, but first of all let me just add an image. I'll leave the color there so I can clearly see what's going on. So here on image I'll click, no, not like that. I don't want to add an image in there. I want to add an image element, so I'll add, go to components and add image tag here. Now the image thingy is too big, so let's select it, go to width. Let's put 100% instead, 100, and select percent. Let's go to the height, and actually not 100%. Let's just put maybe 80 pixels instead, like so. And let's go to the height and put exactly the same, 80. Let's go to border radius. And here I want to give it a border radius of 50, but percent. Select percent there, and there it is. That's cool. And select the container div, not the image, but the container div. And let's see what width it has. It has a width of 100 pixels. We can change it to 150 pixels if we want it, and then do text align center. That way we align that, but that's too much, so let's put 120 maybe. That's okay. And then while that is selected, let's add another element, maybe an H2. Now I can't see what I've added because this has a limited height, so let me click on the height and remove that so that the height is auto, like so. Same thing with this div here. Let's remove that height. So in here, will be the user name, like so. Okay, great. So let's select this guy. Let's remove the background color, but then let's put the color as black. Okay, great. So we have a username. We have this section here. Now I want the background of this one to be very, very light. EF, I think that's the color. Let's see, there we go. Okay. In here, I'm going to add another element, maybe H4. Also, while selected, make sure the color of the text is black. Select this guy, remove the margin, put margin 1 pixel. Here is where we'll have the date. So this one, let's just try 3rd Jan 23. And then the time, let's just try something like 14:35. Maybe PM, AM, I don't know. Anyway, that's that. So select this again, add, this time I'll add div text, just to add some text. Now I'm going to put some dummy text here, just copy it from here, copy, and let's paste in there, like so, just so we see how a post would look like. Here, if you want to change the font size, you can always change the font size. Let's put 18 pixels, like that, great. So if I close this now, this is what you're gonna see. Now you can always click on File and say Preview Page, and OK. And it can show you a preview of how the page will look like. Okay, so posts. Now we have a post here. We want to be able to put comments down here as well. So, but down here I want to put comments where we can click to go to comments. So let me come back here. I'll close this. So right in here, select this main one and let's click Add. Okay. Now on here, I want to add an icon. Actually, maybe let's just add an empty div for a start. That way it can hold the contents there. And let me go to Properties. Let's remove its width first of all. Let's go to the height and give it a minimum height. Or let's just give it a fixed height this time, maybe 50, 30 pixels, something like this. Or maybe we can do that as minimum height just to be certain. Min height, 30 pixels. Or we shouldn't even show that. Let's just remove the height at all. While it is selected, I want to change its color to black. Remove the background color. And then in there, I will add an icon. So I want to add an icon. So it doesn't matter which one I click because I can always change the actual icon itself. So this one is for comments. So what I would do is, what I want to do here. Let's go to image and icon there. So if I click on this, I can find an icon that I want for comment, for example. Where is this? Maybe chat. Okay, that looks much better. So I'll select this one. So any of these will do, it doesn't matter really. Okay. And you can change the font size of this. It's at 30. You can change it to maybe 25, depending on what you want. We can change the cursor here to pointer so that at least we know it's clickable or something. And what else? Maybe we can add some text as well. So I will select the thing that holds it. It has some padding of 10. Let's reduce that to 5. Then let me add an empty div in there. So the empty div is quite large, but let's remove its width. I want width auto here. Actually, that wouldn't work. Let me add, okay, let me delete this. Select that again. Let me add in components, div text. I think that's what I wanted. Yeah, so I can say comments like that. Okay, great. But then this thing is putting these on separate lines, which is understood. Let me try changing the display of this one to inline block. Okay, there we go. That actually worked, but it's not aligned properly. So let's just select the parent and use display flex. And now they are aligned a little bit better. All right, cool. So we have comments here, and that's great. We can make that clickable later. Let's see this. Okay, cool. So this is one post with a username, the user picture. The picture can also be changed if you click on it and go to images and click here, and then you can go to maybe people. Where is that? And then you can add any image of your choice. All right, so far we have a post here, which is nice. Now we can repeat this here. If I click on this, the thing that's holding the entire post, I can go to edit and say duplicate. That way I can see how two posts would look one after the other. Okay, then I can select this. Let's select that image and change it to a different one, just so we can see how it looks with different people, right? Okay, there we go. Okay, so there's another user. Here you can put actual names just to see what's going on. Okay, something like that. Okay, so these could be posts, but then we need to be able to add a post here. So we want to add that area that adds a post. So what I'll do is select this one and edit, duplicate one more time. So it went to the end here, but then I want to change this one. Since I already have a copy of it down here, I won't care. So I'll delete this text in here, delete that text as well, and delete this guy right here. So I have this and that, which is all right. Let me delete that image as well. Okay. So in here, this container, what I want to do is add a button. So just add button here. Let's select that button and say post. So on this one, I want to change the width. So go to width here and let's put this at 100%. So it's already on percent, so it's working. And let me remove the name thing here. So click delete, and there we go. So we have this post and we have this area, but I want to swap these two. So I'm going to right click here and say move up. And there we go. So there it is, moved up. This menu, when you right click, is exactly the same menu as on edit here. So in case you don't want to click, remove your selection while you are right clicking, you can simply just use that part there. Okay, so within this, I want to add an element, and this element will be the, in inputs, there's a text area. So I'll click on text area and there it is. I don't need this label, so I'll delete it like so. Okay. So now this thing has an object within it. There's a container and then there's a text area. So I just want to copy the text area. I'll say copy element and go to the main container here, this one, the gray one, and click edit and paste element. So now I have these two. Now I like this one down here because it doesn't have a container of its own, too many containers. So I'm just trying to delete the other one, but you don't have to do this part. So I'll click delete here. That way I have this one here. Then if I go to the parent of this, I can change its padding so that the area between the text area and itself is less. So it has padding of 10 pixels. I'll change it to maybe 5. So you can always remove it by just clicking here and the entire padding is gone. But I think we can have maybe 4 pixels there. That's great. Okay, so in here, in the text area itself, I can simply go to input here. Oops. My mouse is really dancing around. I have no idea why. The placeholder here, we can say, what's on your mind. All right, so there we go. So we see placeholder and a post. Very cool. we should have added a we should have converted this into a form, but we can do that, no problem, when adding actual PHP. So this is great, actually. Let me close this. We can always preview this by clicking preview page like that. Okay, so there it is. So posts. Wait, why can't I see the what's on your mind part here? That's not great. Okay, but let's go back and see here. If I select this and go properties, maybe there's a coloring issue here of text color, and let's see here. This seems okay. Let's try this again. Preview page. It's not showing. I hope it does show in the final thing though, so I'll leave it there anyway. Okay, so what we have now is this area. Now we want to put comments. So I'm going to select this whole thing that contains everything here. Posts, that, and this. And then what I will do is, actually, before I go there, let's add some pagination down here. Okay, so I'm just going to, as this is selected, I want to add some buttons. So I'm going to say pagination will just be for next page and previous page. So that's about it. We could just copy this, can work. But let me just click add element. Let me go to segments here, and let me add save cancel buttons. So I'm just going to click here. And so this one has a save and a cancel button, but let's change them accordingly. This one will be previous page. Click here. Now these don't leave spaces for some reason, so just use underscores for now. We'll change them to spaces when we start editing. Next underscore page. Let me use a small letter here as well. Now the color at least should be the same, so I'll click on this one, go to properties, look at the color and select all, copy that color, select this other guy and paste the color. That way they both have the same color. So next and previous. Pretty good. Okay, so with that, we can now select this whole thing that contains all of this. And I'm just going to say copy element. And then while it is selected, paste. So I'll say edit, paste element. So if you look down here, now we have this thing pasted here. Now these will be comments instead. So I'm going to edit this and write comments like that. And we change that, what's on your mind. We'll change it to write a comment. So let's do write a comment like so. Okay, great. Let me close that. And here we'll change that to comment. It's up to you what you want to do here, but these will be regarded as comments. And what else? What can we change? What can we change? Just for it to look different, I'll go to properties here, add images. You don't need to add different images, but just so it looks different, I guess. There we go. Okay. All right. So comments there. Now, if you notice, the background has remained behind. So select it, click there, go to properties. And that's because of the height setting. It's on VH, which is the viewport height, but let's use 100%. So let's click on percent instead. So it goes all the way to the bottom like that. Okay. All right. So this is pretty good. Now let's go ahead and preview this. Let's go preview. And there we go. So we have posts. Here's where we post. We have comments. That's where we comment. I'm not sure what's causing this not to show its, but let me inspect this. Let me see what's going on. Seems to have some content, that's why. Okay, so maybe that's why it's not showing our I think so. Let me try and say edit as HTML. Oh, that's why. So it's got this emptiness here, and that's why it thinks it's filled in. Okay, now you can see what's on your mind. Okay, so I understand what's going on. So don't worry about that. It will work out as it is here. It's just that there's some emptiness there, and it gives the impression that this thing is filled up. So you can select all and delete, and you'll see, write a comment there like that. Okay, so far so good. Things are working out. And now what we need is a few more things. So for example, the login and sign up open dialog box, we need that. We also need a message, just in case we want to write a message here. We need a message block, an alert of some kind, and then login, sign up. And then we also need a profile page. Okay, so profile page, so that the user can change their image and name, etc, etc. All right, now before you do that, it's important to save your work. So let's go file and hit save. Let's save this one as PHP Forum, and let's be okay with that. So save. Okay, great. Now that we've saved, let's add a profile page here of some kind. So what I would do is above this, let me just select this. Let me add a, let's go to grids here, and I want to add, oh, wait a second. Wait. No need for a grid. Let's go to empty. Let's add a div. Okay, so it goes to the bottom all the time. So let me right click and say move up. So it goes to the up position. Let's move it up again. Let's move to top actually. There we go. So properties, go to width, and let's remove its width so it goes all the way. Same with height. Let's just remove that height setting. And then let's reduce the background to a weaker gray, like so. Then within it, let's add another empty div. There we go. Okay. And with this div, let's add another one. One more. Let's add another empty div. Okay. So again, just for these to be clear, let me change background colors. These are not permanent. We'll edit them later. I'll go to the width and remove that width. Same thing here. Click on the X to remove the width. That way they go all the way. This one I'll leave the height as it is. Now I can put a background that I want, maybe some kind of blue, bluish blue like that. In here I will add another final div. So let's add another empty div. There we go. And the second one here, I don't want to limit its height, so I'll click on height and remove that height. Okay. This one, let's remove its width. There we go. Okay. So good. Now let me select the parent here, this light gray one, and let me add an element and components. Let's add an image. Let's move this image up. Select this thing again. Let's change the text align to center. Let's select that image over there. And let's add some border radius. Now with border radius you can add some very specific corners here, for example. Let me add here, let's try 30% for this side, and the bottom left, okay, 30 pixels, that's fine. Here let's try 50, and here 50. Okay, like that. Let's move it even further. Let's try 60, same here, let's put 60. Okay, so 30, 30, 60. And then I want the width to be different. So you can just simply click and drag the width of something to enlarge it, like so. You can do that if you want. Then let's do some transform just to see what's possible. And I can actually rotate this guy. Either way, that or that, something like that. So I just wanted to see that you can do some interesting stuff here. Okay, like so maybe. Doesn't even make sense, but hey, why not? Let's go to the width here. Let me try 150. Let's go to the border radius again. Let's let me increase this to maybe 60 or 80, maybe 100, something like that. So I just want some weird shape here. So it's just not a circle like that. Then what I want to do now is change its margin. So let's go to margin. I want the margin top only here. So I'll go to the negative values. So if I move up here, oh, sorry, I've selected the wrong thing. I want to select the image here. So margin top, and let's reduce that margin top like that, so that, oops, where is this? You can just type in specific numbers here, but I'm scrolling so that I move, yeah, something like this. Then we can change the image to something else if you want, that is. Let's try this one. This one is already kind of bent, so let's try something more straight. I don't really know. Any of these will do. So just try a couple, see how they work out, which ones you like. Okay, I like that one. It's lighter, so there we go. And then, what's this? Let me give it a margin bottom as well, so it can leave some space there. Since we rotated it, it's not leaving too much space at the bottom. This is the image. So margin bottom in the positives. Now, be careful here, it's using M. You can use pixels if you want by just selecting pixels, but 1M is okay. And then finally, the thing down here, I want to give it a background color of white, like that. So we can add some actual text here. Then let's check text alignment center. So let's give the user a name. This background here, I want to change that to very, yeah, something like that, very light white. And this, let me go and add a name first. So I'll put an H1 tag. Make sure that the color is black. Maybe even gray. Let's try the black. Mary Jane. Okay, so we have that name. Let's give it margin of 1 pixel. I'll put it at 0. And then after that, we can put some icons. So let's go to icons. Let's just add this icon. And I can duplicate this a couple of times. So let's just edit, duplicate, duplicate. Then I can select all three. Let's add a margin. Pixels. 10. We can now change these guys. So for example, you want, let's go to image. That's where the icon is as well. So let's try Facebook. Let's search for Facebook. There it is. Let's search for Twitter. There it is. And let's search for some other ridiculous, maybe YouTube. So we can also change the color of these by changing just the color here. So I can select all three here, like so, to change the color at once, and maybe a blue like that. Entirely up to you what color you want to use there. All right, then finally select the whole thing. Let's add in components some div text, and let's make sure we remove the height for this thing so it can adjust accordingly. And then let's copy some text from lorem ipsum. I want to don't grab too much here. It's easy to grab too much. So let me just grab this, come back here. This is like the bio for the user and stuff. Okay, so that's that. This is our user profile. So the user, the image, the username, and the bio, and some socials here. Also, these guys I can put. Wait, I actually don't need that, but who knows? You can put cursor here to pointer so that it changes, but I think this would change if we add actual links, so that's fine. Okay, so with this, let me remove that. With this, what we're remaining with now is, let's add some profile settings. So I'll select the same thing here, and let me add one more div. So add element, and let's go to empty and empty div. So with this, as always, let's remove our width. Let's remove the height. And let's add some inputs. I'll reduce the grayness as well here. And let's add some inputs. First of all, let's add an image. Components, image. Actually, let's add an h1 tag. Let's change the color to black. Let's change the background color to something even lighter. Okay. Let's change text align to center. Now this one will be user's profile settings. That's what I'll call it. All right, profile settings. And then after that, now I can add some inputs. So let's add the image first. So let's add the image. That way we can change the image when we want. And also let's add an input, a file input. So file input, there it is. Oops, I tried to add it to the image. So let me select this thing, add file input. Okay. So this one, I want it, I want this one. Let me change the display to block so it goes to the next line. So display, block is already selected, but it's not actually active. So let me select another and put that in the center. Okay, but don't worry about this. This will disappear. Actually, let's do that. Let's just say display. Wait a second here. Yeah, let's just put it at display none. We'll leave it in there. We'll use it, but we don't need to actually see it. We'll make it in such a way that when the user clicks on this, they are clicking that same thing. So with that in mind, let's add one more div, empty div. As always, let's remove the width. All right. This one, I'm adding this so I can put text align left instead of center. Okay. And then let me remove its background color. Let's remove that height. Make sure you don't lose it while selected. Now, if you do lose something, there's the tree here that you can use to see what you've lost, but I'll show you in a moment. Here, what I want is to add inputs. So let me go to inputs and let's put an input field. So that input field, and let's change our color again to black. So here we'll need a username for the user. Yeah, that username. And let me move this, click and drag, just click and drag some of these things to adjust. So there's a username over here, and I'll select this very thing and duplicate it. Now I can, yeah, actually let me select this the whole container here and say edit duplicate. So let's duplicate. So there's username, there's email. Okay, let's put our full colons at the end there. So username, email, and of course there will be password. So edit duplicate, and that will be password. Now you can put repeat password or retype password. That's up to you. Let's try and put that there. Duplicate. Retype password. Okay, so username, email, password, retype password. That's fine. So let's select these inputs. Let's go to the input area, and we can give them names. This one is username, rightly so. Placeholder, you can put username if you want. Let's go to the email part, put placeholder as email, give it a name of email. That way you don't have to retype these things. You can put whether these are required or not. Let's just put true on these guys. Required, true. Let's go to password here. These are not required, so let me just put password here. In the placeholder, let's just say leave empty to keep old password. That way the user can leave it empty when they want to keep the old password. So this one is retype, that's the name, underscore password. All right, great. So those are our settings. And then finally here, while this is selected, the main container, let's add another element, and we go to segments. Let's add a save cancel button. That way we can save or cancel the editing of the profile settings. All right, very good. So let's go to file, save. That's saved. So you can see the file name there showing that it's actually a saved project. So we are getting close. What I want now is to add I want to add alerts. So let's add those alerts here. I'll put that here and say add empty div. Our empty div is the most valuable object. Let's move this to the top. So there it is. Of course, let's remove our width. Let's give it a little margin, this one, maybe 10 pixels. All right, a height, maybe let's remove the height altogether. Let's go to colors now. But before I do that, let me just add an icon. So I'm just gonna go to, let's see here, add, let's go to icons, add people icon. Now in there, let me change the icon first of all. So this one is info, so let me put that info icon. And let's change the background color as well. Maybe green, something like that. All right. So up to you. You can move these sliders to get to the green that you like. Yeah, there we go. Let me now put a inside components. Let's put div text. Maybe let's put an h5 instead. No, not good. Delete. Let's go add div text. Oh, where did I add that? What is this? It's important to know what's selected. You see, I just added it to the end because nothing was selected. So let me delete that. So select that, add div text. Okay, there we go. Now this is selected, the main thing. Let's change the display to flex, like so. Then let's change the justify content to center and also align items to center. Okay, so in here now we can have a message, for example, your settings were saved successfully, exclamation point. Okay, something like this. So we get a cool message. Let's see the height. Okay, so there is no height, it's just the padding that needs changing. So padding is a bit much, but I think that's fine. So select this and edit and duplicate. Okay, so it's gone down here. Let's move that to the top again. So there's that one, but then we want another one that is for danger. So let's move that to the red section, maybe. This is entirely up to you, which ones you prefer, something like that. Okay. You can say something went wrong, exclamation point. Then we can change the icon as well to some dangerous thingy. What could that be? Exclamation point. Yep, that was for the info. This is for the exclamation. So there we go. Very cool. Now if I go hit save, also hit preview, we can finally see a preview here. So there we go. So settings were saved, something went wrong. Finally we get this. Let's go down here. Okay, so the only thing remaining now is the login and sign up pop-up. Now these will come as pop-ups, so that's great. I want to also extend these guys a little bit. So let me select these two, go to properties. Where is the margin? The margin is 10 pixels, so I'll remove that. But then, actually, I just need to remove it, I guess. Let's remove that. Yeah, that worked out well. Maybe we can add margin top of 5 pixels, something like that, and margin bottom of 5 pixels as well. Yep, that actually works. Okay, looks much better. Now with this, let's add our login. Let me save this. Let's add our login and sign up pop-ups. Now these will just come as pop-ups, and once we make one pop-up, we can change its content to make many pop-ups, because we'll be using Ajax to do the thing, to do stuff. So let me select the backdrop div here and add an element. Of course, I will add an empty div, as always. So if I go down here, I'll find it. Now I can click and drag to enlarge it. Like so, but better to use actual values. Now I'll click properties to change the way it behaves. First of all, I'll go to the display and change the position. Change that to fixed. Now it has a fixed position. Where is it? I can't even see it anymore. Okay. So anyway, it has a fixed position. The top here is this number. So let's put top 50. Let's use percent. I'll put percent there. And then let's do left as well, 50%. Okay, so there it is. We have 50%, but this is the corner here that's 50-50. So we have to tell it to shift over to the left by 50% of itself, so that this goes to the center, and 50% top of itself, so that it's right at the center. Currently, the corner, this top left corner, is what's 50 by 50. Now, because the position is fixed, you can see as I scroll here, it remains in the same position, which is nice. But let's try let's do some width first of all. Let's put 400. Maybe 300 pixels width. Height, let's put 400 pixels. All right, but it's not at the center. So let's go down to the styles themselves. These ones, I didn't create a property thing to adjust There is a transform actually. We use a transform. Let's go there and see what we can do. Here on the transform, I want to put minus 50, same as on the X and the Y, minus 50. But these are centered into, sent as percentages, pixels, sorry, but I want them as percentages. So you can see in the styles section here, there's transform, translate, 50 pixels. So let me just change the px to a percent sign. Oops, I edited too much. So let's put percent, remove the pixels. Same here, remove the px, put percent instead. Okay, so now it's right in the center. That's cool. Let's change its dimensions a little more. Let's put 400 here. Yeah, great. Now let's go background. Let's put white, but I want it transparent, so I'll put just transparent it down here, but I want it to be blurry. So what I'll do is in the styles right at the end here, I'll put something I didn't program for here. Let's put what is it called, backdrop dash filter, like that, full colon, put the word blur. Don't forget the semicolon at the end, put blur there, and let's see how much blur. Oops, what am I doing? In there, let's put 5 pixels. So you see now it's blurry like that. The background is blurred, as you can see here, which is very nice. Let's add some border, 1 pixel border, but kind of gray. Yeah, so there it is, very cool. And what else? You can add a box shadow if you want. Give it a shadow. Where is this box shadow? Just put 30 here. Look at that. Let me close that. I selected the wrong thing, so select this one. Put 30. You can reduce the intensity of the color, like so. While we have it selected, let's add an H1 tag. And let's make sure we select color black. Maybe text align can be center as well, but that's up to us. So we'll say sign up. Okay. And after that, let's add an image. And this image will contain our logo. So let's click that. Let's go to logos. Let's find our trusty logo, which is this one. I want to change the height and width to 100, maybe 80 actually. Height and width, 80. This whole thing, oops, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? Okay, so in this case, the thing has disappeared for reasons I have no idea. So I think I moved its position somehow. So what I can do is just select this container that contains everything. Click on tree. Say select parent. No parent was found. Okay. There's a bug here. So I'll select this thing instead and say select parent. So it selects the parent of that, which is the section. So this is what contains everything. Now I'll move down here. Now the things are not labeled, but there's a div here with buttons. I'm looking for a div that has an image. Let's see. I added an H1 and an image. So header, this is the header. So as you're scrolling through here, it shows you, it selects the things in the background here. You can see what those things are in case you don't know what they are. So none of this is what I'm looking for. Wow, where did that thing go? Where is this div? Where is that? Okay, So that's this part here. Select parent. Select parent. Wow, where did that go? Select parent. So I still can't find it. Huh. All these have text area. Okay, I could have edited this out, but I think this is important. Okay, so if you can't find it, I don't understand why. We can always undo. So let me close this. Let's click the undo button. And there it is. So whatever we had done is gone now. Let me select it. And wow, it's gone again. What is going on? Oh my goodness. Let me undo. And there it is. What am I doing wrong? Wow. You know, I should make a button to lock things in place. I think I'll try that. Let's put text align center. And let me add a few, let's go add element. Let me add an empty div. Actually, maybe not an empty, maybe. Let's just add an empty div. Select it. Let's remove that width. Let's remove that height. Let's remove the background color. Let me add an input in there. Input field. Let me change the color to black. And this input field will be username. Actually, I can copy from the other side what I did. This is true. Okay. So I can go down to the profile settings area, which is this part here. Select that, edit, copy. Then we come here. Let me delete this. Oh, before I delete, let me select the parent and edit, paste. Okay, then I can delete this one. All right. Okay, so that's great. Let me select parent by select and say select parent. And let's change the height. This 400 should be mean height. So let's put 400 here. Let me actually remove that. Maybe the height limit is not necessary, but let's put a minimum height of maybe 300 pixels. Okay, so there we go. Sign up. Now sign up doesn't have a cancel button, so let me delete one of these. I'll delete this one. This one though, let's try its width at 100%. Click pixel, click back on percent. Okay, let's change this to sign up. Right. Select this whole thing. Let's change our padding to reduce it, maybe to 0. That's fine. Okay, this placeholder shouldn't have that in there, so let's go back to that. Not leave empty. Let's just put password, and on this one retype password. Okay, cool. So with this one, we can then add more pop-ups and stuff. So this is great. So with this, we are practically done with our thing. So what I'll do is I'll click preview so I can see it. And there it is. So that's how our project looks like. You can hide this for now by putting display none to it, but let's leave it for now. To make sure this has saved, let me click save. Let me click save as. And let me put a 2 there at the end and click save, just to be sure it has saved, because sometimes, I don't know, for some reason there's a bug there. It doesn't always save when you just click save. Okay, so I think with all this is enough to actually create a practical form here that we can actually use. Yep, I think that actually does it. So this input will change to login when we want to use for the login, etc., etc. So you can edit this as you wish, get to a point that you like, and then save it. You can also make these guys transparent if you want, the backgrounds of these. Let's go to properties, and on the color, let's add some transparency, like so. All right, that actually works. Or you can just remove the background colors themselves. Let's go here, properties, reduce, remove. So it's up to you what you want to do. Yeah. All right. So with this now, once you're done, go to File, click Download to download this. So let's do Preview. Just to be sure it is saved, just open a second instance of this using the same link in the description and click Open. It should be here now, and you can click on that to load it. And there it is. Okay. But the problem is these guys are different. So let me go to Properties. Different color there. So let me just put it back on white. Same here. All right. Okay. Maybe instead of this, let me remove the background colors for this. This one too. And this one as well. What I'll do is select the apparent, which is this one, and add some color to it, something like so. But then make it very transparent, something like this. All right. The sign up button is inside this, is it? Yeah, it's inside another container. So I'll select that container and remove its background color as well. Okay, I think that does it. So File, Save. It doesn't give a pop-up that it has saved. To prove that it has saved, just open a different version of this and click on it, and there it is. So things have saved apparently, and this is great. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so from here now I can go, let me close this second version. I can now go to File and click Download. Okay, so there it is downloaded the file that I want. Now you can grab this file and then extract it. So let's grab this, extract to the same folder. And if I now open that, you see it has all the assets in here, the CSS, the fonts, and the images used. And finally, the HTML file, which if I click to open, this is what I get. Okay, so with this, we are ready to actually create the form. So I will see you in the next video where we actually add PHP to this and make everything functional. All right, I will see you.